My name is David Carlisle, and I am a Deputy Chief with the USC Department of Public Safety. USC Public Safety tracks crime on a daily basis, and we meet each week. Every Thursday afternoon we have what is called a crime analysis meeting, where we look at the numbers to see if crime has increased or decreased in a number of different categories. So we track crime very closely. Tracking crime statistics is a very important part of our strategy to address crime here at USC. We meet every week in what's called a ComStat meeting, and we have representatives from LAPD, private security, USC DPS present, and we analyze every crime that occurs, and we develop strategies to suppress crime. In other words, to see that it doesn't happen again, and how we're going to find the people responsible. Since 2006, with these various strategies that we have in place at DPS, we've reduced crime by 46%. On a university campus such as USC, there are certain issues that are common to most universities in the United States. And if you ask me what do I consider our number one challenge for public safety, I would say it is student behavior. And what I mean by that is a certain percentage of students overindulge in alcohol. And when students are intoxicated, they make poor decisions and they are more vulnerable to being the victim of a crime. So student taking a responsible role in dealing with public safety, their choices are the most important component of our overall strategy for safety here at USC.
And breaking right now, just about a mile off the campus of USC, the BMW still right in the middle of the street. The students were inside when they were shot dead. We now know the motive, robbery. Robbery is what led to this double killing. The 20-year-old Brian Barnes, they pick him up South LA. The 19-year-old Javier Bolden, they pick him up in Palmdale. We're told forensic evidence, i.e. shell casings, material evidence, something they took from the victims, ties both of these suspects to this double killing.
2 years ago, when we had the two Chinese students murdered while sitting in their car talking at 1 o'clock in the morning, that actually happened outside the jurisdiction of USC Public Safety. It was about 2 blocks outside of the area where our officers patrol. But in spite of that, it was close enough that since then we've expanded the area where we patrol to be in a larger geographic area where our students live. And we've taken a number of additional measures, particularly since we had another student killed, that have added to what are already unprecedented resources for public safety in a university environment. About 6 weeks ago, the Vice President for Admissions for USC, Catherine Harrington, and I traveled to 3 cities in China to speak with parent groups, Hong Kong, Shanghai, and Beijing. And the parents, of course, were very concerned because 3 Chinese graduate students had been murdered at USC in the last 2 years. And what we discovered was that we need to do a better job communicating with the parents in China. And there's a significant alumni group in each city. Chinese parents were, number one, concerned that Chinese students were being targeted as victims of crime. So we had to spend some time telling them that it was vulnerable students who were being targeted, not Chinese. That was just by chance. And we had to tell them about all the various measures that we were taking and that we had in place and what we intended to do in the future, like establishing a liaison with the international student community. We have one officer that specifically is meeting with the Chinese students and letting international students know what is important when you live in a city like Los Angeles. What are the things you do and don't do? You don't walk alone off campus after dark. So you don't go out by yourself. In the last incident, the student was out by themselves at 1 o'clock in the morning, and when these criminals tried to rob them of his backpack, he didn't give it up. He wanted to fight with them. And we tell, as an example, the international students, give up your property, back up your research on an external hard drive or somewhere else or in the cloud, so that a laptop's not worth your life. And so we had to explain to the parents all the measures we had in place and what we did, and reassure them that we would do more and that we would communicate better with them and with their students. What else could we do to make it easy for students to call for help? So we formed a focus group who evaluated a number of different mobile safety applications for telephones. If you download this Trojan mobile safety application called Live Safe, you go to the App Store, you download Live Safe, it'll ask you what school, and you put in USC, and it creates a button on your phone with just push a button and you're put in touch with DPS. And even if you don't say anything, it tells us your location, so we can send help whether you say anything or not. It has another feature that it's called Safe Walk, and you can tell your friends who also have the same application, if you're walking from point A to point B, they can track your progress. And if you don't arrive at your destination in your estimated time, you can alert public safety officials. Another feature is it allows students to send information to DPS, public safety. They can do it anonymously. If they see a suspicious person or circumstance, they can notify DPS, and it can also include video and audio, or take a photograph and send it to DPS so we could actually see what the person who is reporting, and it can be done confidentially. So that's just another tool to keep students safe. The president of the university's goal is that every student download the application. Do you have it?